So now there's two groups of people that are going to watch this video, right? One, if you knew how to win the lottery and knew you wouldn't get caught, would you A, go ahead and play it and you win? Are you the kind of person that wouldn't tell anybody else? Because if you are, then you're not going to understand where my heart and my head is. Because I knew once I knew this wisdom, and then my mentor experienced me to a model that would pay me, like franchising, that if I took the time to get other people to imagine their life in a better place, that they now become an imaginator. And if they really, truly imagine, then they bring these things into their life.
Welcome to episode 4 of the podcast Unlimited Wisdom with Robert Hollis. I'm Craig A. Jackman, along with Matt Hollis, and we are so glad to have you with us. Now, before we get started, if you'd like to join our exclusive community, the Inner Circle, you can join us by going to roberthollis.com/join to register. There you'll find lots of great exclusive content, and you'll be able to participate in our special breakthrough sessions, which are more directly one-on-one with Robert to help you move to the next level. Today on episode 4, the title, our topic is Unlimited Wisdom. So let's get started. Matt, Robert, welcome.
Hello.
Very exciting topic
Hi,
to bring up today.
Hi, Craig. Yeah, this is going to be a really amazing one for me, and I know that we're going to talk about it going a bunch of different directions. Right now we're having an accountant that's been our accounting forever, taken limited wisdom and turned it into a nonprofit organization, a 501c3, and that'll allow us not only to impact millions and hundreds of millions of people, but what it's also going to do is it's going to finance hundreds of millions of people. So we all know this common thing, and let me tell you guys really quick just what unlimited wisdom is. The one thing that I really realized is that if I never had myself in such a bad situation, which I'm alone, I'm in a apartment that has a 10-day pay or quit notice on it. I'm hiding my car from a repo man, and it was a used car with a pawn loan on it. And this all happened because a lot of us have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. And so I thought I was so smart that when a Toyota van started tipping on the hoist, my first instinct was to stop it from falling. I lost. And it almost amputated my right leg, but messed up my knee bad enough where, a doctor told me in the ER that I no longer could be a mechanic. So a lot of you might not get to a point because maybe your life, and I hope this is true, never ever gets to a point where you just don't know what you're going to do next, that you have no hope, you have nothing. So normally when you get in a bad mental state like that, and now I don't have an identity, I take my incredible wife of 40 years and I tell her, because we were dating at the time, and I told her, hey, listen, you need to go back to Montana. We're in California, and you need to go back to Montana because I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. I'm not going to be able to do in my philosophy or my thoughts is I can't be the provider that a man needs to be. And so for that reason, I had my son, Robert Hollis Jr., with another woman. I was married in my 20s, and I called her up. She abandoned me, and I'm sending my son to her, asking her to watch her own son until I can get back on my feet. And so I want to share this really quickly with you because I got to a place where the thoughts that I was having is that, there's no reason for me to be here. No one really cares. It's not, I'm not benefiting anybody's life. And so when you get those thoughts to your mind, that gets pretty dark. I don't know if I said my electricity got shut off. So not only am I in the dark, but I'm alone. And I'm playing this awful mental game with myself, which none of it's positive. And it got such to a dark place that I did one of those things where some of you that have different beliefs, I didn't know what was out there, but I just prayed to whatever it was that you can't take me any lower than I am. And I just said, if you exist, I'm listening. If I got to do something, if I got to go to a different part of the world, whatever I got to do, let me know you're here. And that was sort of like my Hail Mary. I was hoping that something would come out of that because I didn't want to have these awful thoughts anymore, right? Of me not being here. And so whether this is true or not, um, I get a call from a friend. I wrote about it in my book. How do you know that? You can go to roberthollis.com/free and get that book for free. But Sean Hennigan called me up, and all he told me was, "How are you doing?" I lied to him. Hey, I'm doing great. I couldn't have been worse. And then he said, "Listen, I met this guy." And he started telling me about the income that he had and the lifestyle that he had, and that he was helping other people change their life. And I know this is going to sound corny. All I said is, I'll drive. I'll drive. I want to meet this guy. And so when I met this guy, first, I couldn't have been at a more humble place in my life. Still had a cast on my leg, walking with crutches. And I go in there and he starts telling me stuff I've never, ever heard of before. I mean, words that might be simple to people, like an entrepreneur, leverage. How many people are responsible for your income? Do you know that you can make money without a job? I'm like, who is this guy? So if I didn't see evidence of his income, and then once he shows me the evidence, I'm going, this 1 month, you guys have seen that Wall Street scene, where he walks up and says, "You show me you got that income, I'm quitting right now and I work for you." That would be similar to what was going on with me. And I wanted to know just a couple of things. What did you do before this? And he said, "Oh my God, I used to put tires on and off cars. I worked at a tire store. Sometimes I got to install a car stereo." I was like, "Where the hell did you learn this stuff?" From Yoda. See, he told me that I didn't know this stuff, that I learned this wisdom from somebody else. And I was going, wow. And then he started showing pictures of, I helped this person, I helped this person, I helped this person, and they all were holding their checks. And so the only other thing that I asked him is, how long you been doing this? Now, he didn't tell me the truth. He said, well, I've been with this company for 6 months. I heard he learned from the other two guys in a previous company for 2 years. All right. The point is, he had evidence of him helping himself and others. And I was in an unbelievable, desperate place. Total desperation. And in a blink of maybe an hour and a half, I went from being the most depressed I ever have been to have an imagination of being the most inspired I've ever been. And all this guy did is share with me these nuggets of wisdom. And I'm sorry, but I hadn't felt that way. I couldn't remember ever feeling that way. And so I'm all in, hook, line, and sinker. Just tell me what the hell you're doing, and I'm going to do that. And there was even a little attitude that I had. I said, listen, I'm not only going to go all in and do what you tell me to do, but if this doesn't work, I'm going to find you and kick the shit out of you. So I didn't ask for a personal guarantee. That was my guarantee. If this doesn't work, you get an ass kicking. And so I was a little redneck back then. So I did what he told me. And all I can say is you can go to Google today and put in Robert Hollis and click on images and videos and look through the pages. And everything that I've been able to do for my family and myself, which is living a life that I never dreamed about. Everything that I've experienced in my life is way bigger than my dreams in every area. And then I've believed in this wisdom so much that I started sharing it with other people, and they got massive results. So now there's two groups of people that are going to watch this video, right? One, if you knew how to win the lottery and knew you wouldn't get caught, would you A, go ahead and play it and you win? Are you the kind of person that wouldn't tell anybody else? Because if you are, then you're not going to understand where my heart and my head is. Because I knew once I knew this wisdom, and then my mentor experienced me to a model that would pay me like franchising, that if I took the time to get other people to imagine their life in a better place, that they now become an imaginator. And if they really truly imagine, then they bring these things into their lives. And some of the people that I've been able to touch are not the same people when I met them, just like I'm not. So once I got this wisdom that was passed down from person to person to person, I've spent my whole entire life doing my best to share this wisdom with others. And it's fun to run into other people that not only want wisdom, but they've actually came to a point in their life where they're humble enough to say, I know that I don't know. It's obvious. You look at every area in my life, and it's not anywhere close to what I want. In fact, they've given up so much hope that when you ask people what they want, they say, I don't know. That's how far their imagination has been beaten out of them. So anyone that would like to make them feel good or share with them that they can imagine again, they rebuke, they get away. They say, get away from me. I don't want anything to do with that. It's got to be a scam. It's got to be something wrong. And because of the emotions that we talk about, that's why people continue to get taken advantage of. Because you don't have the courage and the bravery to ask for evidence. And so when I learned what my mentor taught me and went to the top of two companies and made millions of dollars, then I took that information, tried to start my own, not successful, and then joined two people that I trained and went to the top again. So now I know that I know the information. I know that other people that I taught the information did well. And now I'm in a place where I'm going, now what? See, now I'm asking for wisdom, but I'm coming from a place where I'm doing good. What's the next level for me? The next stripe, the next level up. What is that? And that happened in 2001. And the whisper to me was unlimited wisdom, to take the time to put this information together. And unlimited comes from, I know that I know that I know that I don't know, which means that's why Matthew is here, my incredible son that's always had my back. That's why Craig's here. That's why we'll be doing podcasts with other people to share with you. I promise you this. I will only have people on the Unlimited Wisdom podcast that will show me their evidence of them helping other human beings achieve the things that they imagined. I promise you, there never will be anyone on this podcast, Unlimited Wisdom, that is someone that's here to hype, here to sell, here to get you to do things that you wouldn't normally do, with them as the benefactor. Everything that we do with Unlimited Wisdom, our nonprofit, will be wisdom that we'll gather from people that we feel will touch you at the time that you need it. So they always say that when the student's ready, the teacher appears. So I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life. I'm 62 today. This is my birthday. And I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to getting to wisdom to people that have ears to hear. So unlimited means I'm never going to stop learning. Unlimited means that I know that I'm consistently learning new aha moments that I want to share with you, that I know that will help you achieve anything that you want to achieve, including if you don't believe that you can. What's really unique about wisdom is if you do it, there's a trick in it, because as soon as you start helping other people and not worrying about yourself, then when you learn to help other people imagine, your imagination comes true. If it worked for Walt Disney, if it worked for all these other people, that their number one thought is this thing inspires me and makes me feel like I can be a superhero, I need to get this story into other people's feelings. I need to get them to imagine. I got to get them to think that life can be better than it is today. So that's my opening for Unlimited Wisdom. And I thought it would be great. A lot of people are going to say, what is unlimited wisdom? Of course, Matt's been around me for 31 years, 32 years. And Craig feels like he's been around me at least half that amount of time. So thank you very much for the opening, Craig. And that's what unlimited wisdom is. In the shortest time that I could deliver it. I just know that if again, if I can show you through wisdom and evidence that I can change the way you feel and think about things, I know I can do that for a fact. Challenge me. You'll see a number of different options that we have. You can become an avatar. No, you can become an imaginator. And I'll show you how to be an imaginator. What's an imaginator? Imaginator is someone that's figured out that they got the powers to help somebody else imagine. And that's when people imagine, they see the vision of what their life can be. And when they got that, they can walk through walls. So what do you think, Matt? What do you think, Craig?
Robert, you were talking earlier before we started the podcast about a gentleman who, okay, it just hit me that maybe he was kind of one of the original imaginators, Zig Ziglar.
Yes.
Especially when you said one of his quotes, you can have everything you want in life if you help enough people get what they want in life. And these are people using, or where you're going to help them imaginate
Yep.
to what their best potential can be. And I love, because I love the title, first of all, Unlimited Wisdom. It is unlimited.
It is.
Wisdom is unlimited. The only boundaries to unlimited is what is up here between these two listening things. Because if we don't stop imagining or imaginating, we can't think of where the next thing is. Technology is showing that.
Yep.
Right now, for everybody today, what are we, where's the limitations to what technology will allow us to do? Well, Matt, and I know you love this because it is unlimited. When you think about it, because your imagination, just watching you go through the steps with this alone is incredible. Your eyes light up, your mind opens up. The fact that you love this, and even what we were talking about with movies and other things, wisdom is unlimited if you allow yourself the opportunity to expand, open up, step outside of your own box and think about what it is that you want, what you can do with it, and can you take other people with you who can help expand your wisdom from where you are today?
No, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where I don't know, the culmination of everything kind of just happens when it's supposed to. And I know that I haven't always been a believer in that, but in my own life, I've realized the more that I can imagine what I want, the more happy and excited I am, at least in my day-to-day life. And it almost seems like a culmination of events that makes me feel like my imagination does have power out here,
Yeah.
outside of it being powerful for me personally. And being able to like inspire people with your idea or what you see being the future or where things are going. Um, I've always been one of those types of people to like daydream and
Yeah.
imagine. It's something that I actively have to like stop myself from doing, right? Like I'm very like idealistic. I'm very
Yeah.
optimistic when it comes to those things, my own abilities, what we're all capable of as humanity and things like that.
Right.
But I as we go into this world and we go into these thoughts of what unlimited wisdom is, it's not just, in my opinion, it's not just what you have the capabilities to do for yourself, but what you can do for others,
Mhm.
Amen.
and how important it is to reach out and touch somebody else. And it's kind of like, it's one of those things where, just like you were saying, if this is something that you want to keep to yourself, that's, I don't know, like that, it's fine, but at the same time, there's like a large amount of people that want to share something that's great for them or information that's great for them. And I know we naturally do this, but I know that we're also unique and different. So our
Yes.
goal with unlimited wisdom is to utilize the words unlimited and wisdom. And what does that mean? It's like, that can mean if you're wise in one area, but someone else isn't, and they want to get to know more things about that. And like
Yes.
my dad shared, bringing people on here that actually have the ability to share in different areas and walks of life, different things that they've overcome or worked on, and where they're getting their inspiration from, where that unlimited aspect is for them,
Correct.
because it really is different for everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah, like my wife, Terry, Matthew's mother. Um, all you need to do is talk about positive or negative. All you got to do is talk about doing something for animals or hurting animals. And that is someone that you don't want to deal with
On the
because
hurting animal side, you don't,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, it's we just all don't realize how much power we have when we're talking about the comment that Zig Ziglar said that Craig talked about. The very first thing that I did is when that touched me, I went to AI, which two groups of people, right? This is where wisdom comes from. There's people that want to be a part of a movement, and there's people that don't. And most people get upset because they're trying to want people to go on a journey that they don't want to go. Why not just find other people that are on that journey? So it's like when you surround yourself by those people, those are the people that freak us out, like the Swifties or the monsters or the believers, right? Or a NASCAR fan or a mixed martial arts UFC fan. See, or Craig, I love plays. You know what I mean? Matt, there's not a doubt that he's going to be one of the people that are going to be looked at what he created with AI. He's going to be he's going to be the first mover advantage, and it's because he loves to learn and he loves to challenge himself in that arena. How can he possibly share his love for what he wants to create and imagine with AI any different than Craig can share his love for being a live actor, on stage in a play? See, so a lot of you will watch that and go, I don't want anything to do with it. I get it.
Mhm.
But you do need to get that for yourself. So let me explain that again. So when I grabbed that saying and I put it in AI and I said, what other things are similar to this? And the first thing it brought up was this. Tell me if you guys have ever heard this. It says, given it will be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured. So a lot of people will have different versions of that in their Bible, their Quran, their It's like it's out there. It's this thing where, hey, if you're having difficulty, why don't you focus on helping other people instead of yourself? That's something that's not going to happen. Well, great. Then don't ask your life to change. So when holidays come around, or Valentine's, or birthday, it's my birthday today, or Christmas, why can we get into the mood of buying something for someone or giving them a part of our time, a message, a card, a cake, something special? See, the people that we really love, that means the world to us, we'll give everything to. So we understand the principle. It's just when I'm desperate, it's all about me. It's all about selfishness. Matt and I and Craig were talking about this before we recorded. And it's like the worse it gets, the worse it gets. The worse it gets, the worse it gets. And it's like, so when all of a sudden I got someone sitting down with me and they're saying, like, listen, you know how many people would like to change their lives? Freedom is more important than money by far. So what if I could show you how to do something for others, putting them in a better situation than they were before they met you, and you can retire your spouse? See, people that do stuff like that or want to retire themselves, I'd rather retire my spouse than retire me. The businesses that I built are built because I want freedom for my wife and my sons. I want them to make a decision. Matt has never had to get up and go, I need to find a job. Did I do that for him or did I do that for me? I did that for me. But I did have him in mind. I thought, what if he didn't have to constantly be focusing on getting a job and doing things that he didn't like for the sake of frickin' money? What if Matt could just be Matt? He's my son. He's a gift. Why can't I just give him what he needs and he can do what he thinks will help others?
Yeah. No, I love you for that, of course. And I what's so interesting about it too is like when you have certain situations, right? Like in a lot of ways, I don't think this is a word, but nepotism, right? Like nepotism is something that I get the fortunate of benefiting from in this situation where it's like a lot of people have to go through a lot of trials and stuff to figure out not just to have the time to work on the things that they want, but then also to pursue the things that they want,
Right.
right? And I think in my case, all I can do with that is just make that the best that I can for the people around me and the world. And I think like in my own situation, I reference a lot, like it's interesting because this is one of those topics, right? If you don't really know about it, but it's like, okay, well, why can Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg go to Harvard and drop out and start two of the largest companies to ever be made? Nepotism.
Yeah.
It's because they were in a situation that their
Choices.
parents had financially put them in,
They had
that
choices.
they always had that fallback, so then they could figure out how they wanted to revolutionize the world. They could put their brain power not into survival, but put their brain power into creating and changing things. And whether you bring up Elon Musk, similar situation, right?
I was just
A
gonna say
lot,
it here. Yeah.
yeah, these people that are not self-made, and that's perfectly fine, but at the same time had the opportunity
It
to
doesn't
be at
it
the right
doesn't
place at the
stop
right
it
time.
didn't stop them or you from struggling and going through painful experiences as another thing,
Well,
other parts of
the
your
mental aspect of life is going to hit you regardless of the financial aspects, but it is made,
Amen.
of course, a lot easier. I had the opportunity to go to therapy because I could financially afford it. And I think when I see other people, like, that's honestly my goal. Like, one of my goals in life, and you've heard me say this many times, even when I was younger, is to do two things. It's to expand creativity to people that didn't have the opportunity to utilize it before, and to expand learning to people that didn't have the opportunity to utilize it before. And AI, of course, I'm going to hop on that fucking bandwagon automatically,
Yeah,
because in my life, I don't know if I manifested it or the way that the world works, but
you did imagine it.
I definitely imagined it. Maybe
Yeah,
not this way, but it's the way that it's happening. Great. A lot of work is being taken off my shoulders by this. But AI being invented, it's like, okay, I'm going to lean heavily into two areas, the education and the creation part of it.
amen.
And that's because I believe that's my area of expertise, is that I can
Mhm.
help and provide a platform for people that are both creative and want to learn, just like we are doing here with Unlimited Wisdom. And I believe this is the learning part,
Yep,
um, to get people into a place where they can be happy and successful in their lives and do the things that you're sharing, that you gave us the opportunity to do, and push that to the next generation of
yep,
people, right? Because that's
yep.
the end goal, is to make humanity better. And I think a lot of people struggle with that, right? Whether you're
They
in a
do.
place where life is really a struggle, or you're in a place where life really isn't, but you don't really know what to do with it. Some people
Yeah, because
started with
even
nothing,
even
but
if you even if you gave somebody a free smartest phone out there, didn't make a difference what deal it is, and then you gave them unlimited data on Wi-Fi. Uh, that's where those theories have come from, where people don't believe in them, is that if you don't get them to imagine, they're just going to use the technology to scam people. Because what they're going to do is they're going to hang around other people that use technology, AI, internet, social media to just steal from people. All right. So, but what's the yin and yang of that? Darkness versus light. You got other people that we can help them learn that they were created to be an imaginator and help other people imagine. So people look at other people and they imagine they would like to be like, Michael Jordan. They imagine they could be like um, Kevin Costner. They maybe not him right now, but it's like, but people are going, no, I don't want to go through $100 million divorce. It's like, but before his divorce, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
But
Yeah.
but, one of the things that I'm really, really we're gonna talk about this, by the way, if you guys wanna know where you can get more on what we're talking about, just click the join button anywhere around this video, and Craig will talk about it later, because there's people that I want this video to touch, but there's people that I want to be a part of Unlimited Wisdom, in our paid positions, where you can actually allow us, with other people that are doing it, to bring that imagination to you, because what I'm going to talk about in the inner circle in really depth is something that I like to share with you guys now, sort of changing it a little bit. um, People don't realize that everything they use, everything they are, everything that's already happened to them was by utilizing the things that they stopped using. So everyone that's watching this has thought and imagined, wouldn't it be cool to be in a relationship? Wouldn't it be cool to get a job? What would it be like to have my driver's license? What would it be like to move to another place, or my place, instead of living with somebody else? See, if you really realize, every one of you already can tap into a wisdom that I tap into. You just forgot how. So you allowed the world to get you to not trust you. Don't trust you, trust me. Don't listen to you, listen to me. Don't do what you're doing, do what I tell you to do. So the world tells you, don't listen to you. Don't work on that connection. Don't tap into that wisdom, because it benefits them if you can just work for me and follow me. You see what I'm saying? And so what happens is we imagine finishing school, whatever that was, and we imagine, getting in a relationship, and maybe some of us imagine having children, and then some of us imagined a good job or a good career. And I was sharing this with my wife Terry to just show you guys how simple this is. So I said to my wife, um, "Listen, I watch you write down on paper what you're going to get the next day." And she goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Do you imagine where that stuff is in the store?" She goes, "Absolutely." And she said, "I got it all figured out in my head where I could do my entire list for that store, Costco, Target, Walmart. I can go through that store and I can do it efficiently as possible." I said, "Do you imagine how you're going to get there?" "Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah." And I said, "So you imagine it, then you sort of go to sleep and allow it to work on you. And then you get up in the morning and you jump in, you take a bath, you get ready, you get the dogs feed, you get me fed, and then you're out in the vehicle implementing your imagination from the day before." And she goes, "How could you do it if you didn't picture it? How could you do it without thinking about it?" And I went, "Exactly." So, have any of you ever felt like you're doing your job when you're not there? Like you're sleeping and you're like, "Oh my God." It's like, I'm doing something extremely complex, not saying that you don't, but a car comes in, I diagnose it, the motor not working. I find out that it's blowing up. I figure out the parts that I need by taking it apart. I've already built that motor numerous times in my mind as I'm going through the days as I'm doing it. I know what the next step I'm going to do the next day. And then I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. Craig is one of the most organized imaginators I know because this guy used to run events that I spoke at. So he has wisdom that I don't have. And I'm okay with that. So when we're putting an event together, Craig will ask me something like, "Well, what's the theme?" "What the hell are you talking about?" "Well, Robert, if it's got a theme, then around that theme, we can call it a name. And then we can create the banners and the promo stuff to be able to promote it. You do want people there." "Yeah, Craig, I want people there." And he's like, and then he imagines what's the set gonna look like. He imagines what the back looks like. He imagines where the TVs are. Craig's got it all in his head because people show up and go, "What should I do?" And he goes, "This is what you're doing." And he just points, guide, and directs people. And then I come out and go on stage and I'm like, wow, wow, this is cool, Craig. I think that Craig imagined my reaction. He's going, "Yeah, yeah, this is what it needs to be. I can't wait for Robert to see it." And so isn't it funny that Craig can even play a little coy? Like he's got a million things going on. And I come walking in, he says, "Well, I got to get this and this done. Do you need anything?" He didn't come up to me and go, "What do you think?" He comes up to me and says, "Hey, I'm on the headset. We got this camera, everything. You'll probably be going on like at 1:20. And so be in the back at 1 o'clock so we can get you all mic'd up and everything." I go, "Great." And he goes, "You need anything?" And I go, "Craig, this is fucking awesome." And then he goes, "Yeah, yeah, it is." Do you guys understand that all day, every day, we're imagining and we imaginate and we create things that people become a part of. But then there's just some other times where we listen to somebody that doesn't have wisdom, that's not connected. Why would we fucking do that? is because we don't trust ourselves. We just don't trust. We trust in certain areas. You talk about this, I got it. I got it. Well, what about this? Uh, no, no. So then if we want to go down that, we'll listen to people that are giving us marriage advice and they've been divorced 3 times. We won't even ask them, "Hey, do you got any evidence from some couples that you actually kept together?" No. We start listening to all these opinions and honestly, all this awful stuff because no one ever taught us when we could imaginate, get plugged in, ask for evidence of other people, and put ourselves in a community of all people that wanna help other people imagine their best life ever.
No, I mean, I think that that's the place that everybody wants to be in too, Dad. Like, I think
Yeah.
it's everyone's dream to be in a position where they get to just imagine positive things that they wanna do in their future and actually have them take place. Because I feel like a lot of people are stuck, myself included sometimes, of course, because 'cause I'm human, in that
Totally.
area where you're, like, living out your dreams in your imagination so much that you're actually not doing shit to get there. You're just, like you're daydreaming so hard that then it's just, like, you might as well be in virtual reality because that's where you are right now, right? You're like, "I could see myself on stage. I could see myself doing these things."
Yeah.
But then you, like, open your eyes and you don't have the motivation to get there, or maybe you've already gotten what you wanted out of it in your mind, so you're not and
Well,
so I
Matt, let
think
me help you right there,
yeah,
okay?
no, I brought it
So
up for a
so
reason.
yeah. So, I think you related to everyone, including me, when you said that. And so, when you're so into imagination that you don't seem to go into action, it's because you're doing it for you and not somebody else.
No, I mean, that's normally the case.
It always is. So, if you were gonna create something with AI that you knew would inspire them or solicit emotions to really get people to go, "Oh my god, I wanna share this with everyone." You know what I mean? "This is awesome. I can't wait for people to see this." You know that it will stretch other people's imagination.
Yeah, well, what's so interesting about what you're saying and how true it is that I believe it or not, like, even the groups that I'm in with AI and filmmaking and stuff, like, I get in there, right? And I'm not one of those people normally to, like, share what I am working on until it's, like, finished. I like to have some form of, like I don't know if it's, like, professionalism in my mind or some stupid thing like that, like, I see
Right.
it that way. But on the other hand, I'm incredibly helpful and I don't mind going out of my way for others.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is I'm in there and someone does something and they're like, "Well, how's this work?" And I'm like, "Connect this to this. This is how this
Mhm.
works and this is how this goes." And I'm showing them and then they're generating it and stuff and then it gets to the point where they go, "Well, like I'd like to see what you mean by that, like, visually." So then I'm like, "Oh, okay, let me get out Premiere and start making some clips so then I can get to show them, right?" And then before you know it, I'm in the process of making my own shit and posting it because now I'm in a place where I'm like, "Well, I wanna show them what I mean by
Yeah.
Sure.
it." I wanna show them that it's actually very important that you take your time. It doesn't need to be fast until you're ready for it to be there. That you don't need to have that
Right.
to keep someone's attention or get them to elicit the feelings that you want. And so I actually edit something together and post it, and people are like, "Okay, like I get what you're saying now. This is really great. Like I get it."
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
to have that response just goes to show exactly what you're saying, that when I'm in a place where I'm helping other people, that it actually puts me then in a place to imagine for myself and inspire myself to do things that I was imagining,
And
Right.
what
because it
is
just puts
that?
me in that creative place.
And what is that? That's taking the action. That is
Right.
actually doing. And, I mean, okay, Master Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. I mean, yeah, you can sit there and like you were saying, you just put it through your head and just keep it there. Even if you just let a little bit out to other people who you trust. Okay. We were talking about trust also.
Yeah.
Um, who you trust that can help you get to that point. And then open it up more. You know, you're opening the door slowly with your knowledge, with what you want to share, Matt.
Yeah.
You're sharing it with the people that you need their wisdom,
Well, what's
or
so
their what
yeah.
if their validation of what you're doing is their wisdom. That's also fantastic, because then they say yay or nay, or maybe what you're sharing is, okay, is there a chance I can do this better? Or if
Yeah.
you've got it, then that's wisdom too. That is the
No, I
unlimited wisdom
found
out
like
there.
what so true, Craig, because when I first like joined and started to get involved in this stuff because like I really, really wanted to do it, um, I was easily the weakest link in the chain because I was starting when people have already been doing this stuff for like a year. They've been
Mhm.
practicing with generating animation with AI or doing animated diffusion and all these different things well before I hopped into it. So I had so many people help me, right? So then you're already in this sense of community. Uh and now I feel like I'm like in the middle of the chain, right? There's people that are much better at me than me, doing more than I'm doing, and then there's people that I'm now helping. And it's a constant reminder then there's unlimited wisdom out there. There's always another step that I can go in to be the weakest link in the chain. And
Yep.
my goal is to keep myself there because that keeps me I've found keeps me the most hungry
Yeah.
because I don't know, a lot of people beat themselves up and I've done this myself, but like we'll beat ourselves up for not being as good
Yeah.
as the people that we envision or we want to be like, we want to emulate, right? And I heard this one quote that kind of changed my perspective on it, and it's just a little piece of wisdom, but it's that if you have those things in your mind and that's what you want to become, that is just because your tastes are that good. It's it's that you have the ability to make something of that caliber of quality, but you haven't taught yourself how to do it yet.
Right.
Your tastes are there. Like maybe you listen to certain music and you go, "Man, I'd love to make music, but I don't know how to learn instruments." Like it's such a big barrier, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. It's that don't feel like you're shitty at what you do because you can't create something at the scale of what you want. Look at it as my tastes are that good, but my skills have not accomplished. I haven't accomplished my skills yet to create that. And my goal is to create things till I get to that point. And you'll know when you're there, right? And then
Right.
maybe you pass
Absolutely.
off over the other side and you go, okay, let's be creative in a different way.
The Science
But
of Getting Rich talks about this too.
yes,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
it's part
You
of the evolution of who you
exactly.
are.
Craig, I have it's funny how people will call it a rehearsal and then
Mhm.
they'll call it reading my lines. I know because you're an artist, there's a lot of things that and so how many times do you go through your character before you go on stage?
Oh my god. So many ways. I am working on something right now. And it's all it is a short scene. It's for a group of people that I am involved with. And I've got a script and I read the script. And then it's like, okay, now that I've read this script, what are they trying to say? Who am I trying to be? And I say things over and over and over again. But then,
In different ways?
yes,
What?
because oh, I know, surprise. Because when you say things out loud, when you realize what it is that you're doing, what happens? You begin to understand what it is you're saying. This is part of the unlimited wisdom. You may not know it, and then all of a sudden, and I've had this with several of the roles that I've played, and in fact, even on stage in the middle of a production, a live production in front of an audience, where in my head, even though I'm saying the lines, I'm going, oh shit, that's what that means. And it comes out better,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
it comes out okay. I know I've told this story on the previous podcast that we had, where Sir Laurence Olivier did one of the most incredible performances in his life. And it was a standing ovation. The critics just raved about this one performance of this show that he did, and he rehearsed it millions and millions of times. For anybody who is in the performance business, whether you're a singer, whether you're an actor, whether you're a musician, you rehearse and you find the nuances. He found the nuances on this one performance, and people came backstage and they were praising him, and he was scoffing at it.
Yeah.
And people were saying, what? That was the most incredible performance that you could do, you could have ever done. And he goes, but how can I repeat that?
Yeah.
And so, but then what you do, because I've had those, maybe not on his level, I'm getting there, but
I've seen you there.
thank you, sir. Thank you so much. But the point is like you, Robert, like you, Matt, you get to your level that you want. So what's next? Let's bring it up another notch.
Right.
Let's find that next level. What is it that people want? What is it? Well, or what is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you
Right.
want to accomplish? What is it that now that you've reached a goal, where do you want to go from here? And that is part of unlimited wisdom, because wisdom is unlimited. You've got your goal, you've got your prize. What's next?
Right. I think the biggest thing that we'll see as unlimited wisdom progresses and gets bigger is there's not a doubt in my mind that the reason that people have anxiety and they have this feeling of hopelessness, learned hopelessness, is I know through wisdom you become who you hang around. And like Matt said, to be aware enough that you're not the smartest person in the room. This can be such a problem for a lot of people where they're always the smartest person in the room. If you put yourself in situations where you're around people that make you look like you're really not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And one of the things that I really understand about people in the last few months, this is all recent for me, is that because of our uniqueness, because of our DNA, and I even wanted to research this to make sure that it's true. But the only mathematician that took the time to figure this out was that every person that watches this video, live or recorded, well, I guess it's recorded always, but it's
It's live for us, okay?
yeah, it's live for us, is their definition of a word. So if we took a word called like love, LOVE, if everyone has unique DNA and a 400 trillion to 1 chance of being alive on this planet right now, so that's all based on whether or not your ancestors that are 4 or 5 generations away, what they had to do to not only both stay alive, but both meet at a certain time to have one of your greats. See what I mean? It's like with the pandemics and the natural disasters and dinosaurs, if you go back far enough, depending again on your belief. Where a lot of people I know are messed up right now is we've never lived in a time, and I'm not saying this is negative, I'm just saying that this is what it is that there used to be people that had to have evidence to be listened to. Are you listening to me?
Mm-hmm.
It's like not every Tom, Dick, and Mary, apologize if you got that name, we live in a time where people, when I was going through my stage where I knew everything, and if you don't believe me, just ask me, there was no one that I could influence. Zero. I knew everything. I had my opinions. I was, in my opinion, an asshole that really felt like they just knew everything than everybody did. But I didn't have a platform. So I'm not saying that being 62 years of age, that me growing up at the time that I grew up is better than yours, because it's not. We're living in the best times ever. But there's just more people with no evidence that have a loud voice in this point in your life. And that's why I feel that unlimited wisdom is more important today than it ever has been. Because if you could just learn to just say what was taught to me by another one of my mentors, is how do you know that? And not be offended and corrected by that. It's just like, Robert, how do you know that? What do you mean, how do I know that? No, tell me how you know that. Matt told me, I'm gonna need a little more evidence. My son wouldn't bullshit me. If you offend me one more time by saying something negative about my son, you got a 55-gallon drum of whoop ass coming. You know what I mean? See, I can easily revert back to that asshole because I'm just human. I'm just human, right? And so me and Matt have giggled about this because me and him love debating each other, right? So I know that this has never happened to any of you, right? Have you ever found out that you were in a debate or an anger argument with someone, and then the person said some kind of jujitsu
Judas?
stuff?
Oh,
Judas,
okay.
yeah, and some martial art trick, a Yoda trick, right? And bam, instantaneously, you knew you were wrong. Instantaneous. So you went, ooh, that feeling, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. So we say, wow, I just had an aha moment, Matt, and you're right. No, what I got to do is I got to change the subject, and it's got to be fucking fast.
Or one of the funny ones, right? Where you're like talking to someone and you're in a disagreement, and then they're like, well, let's look this up. And then they start looking it up, and then they like pause for a second, and they're like, so what are we ordering?
Yes. We've all experienced
It's like,
that.
oh shit, I'm right. I
Then
knew
if
it.
the other person is aware enough to go, no, you're not getting off that easy. And they bring it back. I can't tell Matt, you got me. I now realize that you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. No, I got to tell him that I misunderstood what he was talking about.
We've all done that one. Oh, absolutely.
I've been trying
Matt,
myself to be better
Matt,
at
I
that.
thought you were talking about this and this and this. And as I'm saying it, he's going, no, you didn't. You know what I mean? But it's like this fight for the right to be right instead of loved. Fighting for the right to be right instead of freedom. Fight for the right to be right instead of being in joy and pursuit of happiness. Because happiness, is you'll find out in unlimited wisdom, are just little cool things that happen that we thought was going to bring us happiness.
Well, okay. Can I share the quote that
Please.
Mary Martyr, who follows us, thank you, Mary. She found this as in the Code of the Extraordinary Mind, and she shared that today on Facebook. At least as we're recording this podcast, and the quote is really amazing when it comes to what we're talking about. Our definition of normal is nothing more than what is programmed into us.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that whenever you travel or you go to different
Yeah.
places or you go eat at
Oh
someone else's
God, yes.
house or something like that, because there's like, I love what point you guys are touching on too, especially because there's this certain aspect of getting, like, even in my own life lately, by getting situations that validate the way that I think about myself in a good way.
Good.
What would be a word for that? We've been saying it, but I'm drawing a blank for it right now.
It truly is.
Examples, something like
It's
that.
not only
Well, it's a validation.
it's not
Right.
but approval.
Well, I mean, like when I said you can vision all these things, right? You can
Right.
see it this way.
Realization.
Kind of. It's like one of those situations where you think you can do something and then you prove to yourself that you can. Right? So in that
Okay.
situation of that happening, you then have more confidence in what you're doing.
Yeah.
But you have to put yourself in a position to build that. And I think in my own, I didn't necessarily have the wisdom for this, but in my own situation, I was so good at like giving myself validation based off of other people, but keeping my expectations for myself very high, right? Because that's my ego or whatever it is. But my expectations of what I'm capable of are very high. And I would take that, but I would never follow through with it completely, because then guess what could happen?
You get to find out the truth.
I could find out that maybe I'm not all that in a bag of chips, right?
Yeah.
And so because of that, I can relate with a lot of other creative people or people in general that feel that way.
Right.
That you feel very inspired and you feel very capable of doing things that are above average or are above where you feel like you can punch on certain days.
Right.
But
Mhm.
you don't do it because of the off chance that you might be wrong. But the
Right.
thing is you're also really fucking it up for yourself on the off chance that you could be right.
Yeah.
And
And again,
There's the what if question.
yeah, we're going into the wisdom thing, right? The one thing
right,
that
exactly.
I loved about the Super Bowl commercial with, Matt Damon and
Oh, the
Affleck.
Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right.
Dunkings.
Dunkings.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what was really hilarious about that is they show behind the scenes, right? And all of a sudden they just got a big donut hanging up, and who can throw a football through this, right? And I thought it was so funny because there's the classic person and their ego comes out where, there's a phrase, if you guys want to Google it, it's called armchair quarterback. But what it means is that the person that's viewing the person doing it believes that they could do better, even though they're not there, right? So, of course, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are trying to throw it through this donut, and they're not doing it. And so Ben Affleck grabs the ball and throws it to Tom Brady, and then puts his hand behind the donut like he's going to catch it. And Tom Brady goes, "You need to move your hand." And you've seen Ben Affleck go, "Oh, he thinks he can hurt me." And Tom Brady, being a little better football player than Ben Affleck or Matt Damon, knows what he's capable of. And he draws back, and he knows when he's accurate is when he's not thinking, and it's got some fire on it. And it's like, wham. And then these guys with ego go, "See if you can do it again." Right through the center. Throws him the ball, wham. Throws him the ball, wham. Throws him the ball, wham. There's like 5 in a row. And Ben Affleck grabbed it and he goes, "I think I've had enough."
No, it's like back when we watched like Ninja Warrior and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
That was
there we
always
go.
one of those ones, right? You like see those obstacle course things and you go, if I just had a crack at that, if I had a good run at it, I think I could probably do better than this person,
Or
right?
probably Survivor or Big Brother. Or any
Yeah,
of
I'd just
those
be
things.
dangling there. You're like,
Even-
help, get me off.
And what I thought was so powerful about what Ben and Affleck said in that moment in time is that we all have an ego where we see someone do something and we go do it again. And then they do it again. You go do it again. And then it's like, okay, that was 3 in a row. He can't do 4. Do it again. And then he did 5. There just becomes a point where you go, yeah, he's that fucking good.
There's that documentation that beats the
Wait a minute.
conversation.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, we know that he's the GOAT, but I'm watching the GOAT do what the GOAT does.
There's this, like, I think his name's Michael Bisping, the one UFC fighter. There is this one streamer, right, that's been doing exercise, like UFC stuff, right? And so he went to this gym and he's like, we're going to live stream it. And Michael Bisping was going to spar him, right? And it's full gloves, no pads, just the gloves, sparring in a octagon. And Bisping says, okay, for the first 5 minutes, or not 5 minutes, for the first like 60 seconds, I'm just going to let you you just wail on me as much as you want. Try to hit me as much as you want. You know, the classic, like,
Yeah.
do whatever you want to me. And then after that, I'm going to actually go after you. So the first 60 seconds go by, and of course, you know how it goes. He can barely fucking hit his arms, let alone his head, right? And then the 60 seconds tip over into Bisbing's side, and he just does not hold back, just obliterates this guy in a way that, you know, he had to have said beforehand, listen, go off on me. Like, actually hurt me. Because when you see him hurt this guy, he comes out of it, his face is messed up, even from 60 seconds. And you're
There was
going,
one of the Logan
similar.
guys that actually, you know, fights. I know one.
They both do.
Yeah, Paul Logan. And
Logan Paul and Jake Paul.
And I don't remember, you can look this up online, but he just said, listen, I'm thinking about getting involved in MMA. And he went to a studio, and I forget what was there. And he's going, do you want to put like time on this? And the Logan kid went, I'm stronger than you think. And the guy goes, you probably are. And so just like that, they go. And then he was tapping out, and he's going, same stuff. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I didn't know
the man part of you sometimes that's like,
okay, wait. I want to do over here. I want to, what is it? A mulligan.
Okay, this time,
right.
You tell me when you're ready. And I really love this stuff because, you know, when you run into people that work that much on their wisdom, it's like sometimes even me, I'm willing to say this, that I forgot the journey on purpose because it was difficult but worth it. It wasn't easy. I sucked, but I couldn't stop imagining that when I stopped sucking, what kind of lifestyle that I would have, that if other people did it, I could do it. And I was just willing to the pursuit of happiness. I was just willing, following a person that had evidence and helping other people like me. I just knew that I was going to give it my best effort. And because I did it and I didn't quit, I kept getting gooder and gooder. You know what I mean? And so there's this thing that a lot of people, if you don't have the right imagination, because there's other ways that people have been saying it over the years, that if you really truly knew your why, a why to make you cry, that the how doesn't make a difference. But people still don't know what that why is, and they still don't know what they want. But we can show them how to imagine, right? And so the one thing that I just love about watching someone step into a game where the other person is just so good, and the other person assumes that they're okay. You know, and I've even seen back in the day where Muhammad Ali is going to show my age today. But him doing expositions, is that what they call?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's seeing him in the ring and the footwork and his speed and there's even funny videos out there where these young people get into a ring and the coach is telling them what to do. And of course, the coach is old like me or a little older. And this guy just couldn't handle it anymore. And he goes, give me the gloves. And the guy goes, I am going to hurt you, old man. And he goes, didn't you think that was a decision I made when I got in the ring? Why are you trying to tell me something I already know? Are you ready? It's like, I don't want to hurt you. I'm taking my personal responsibility. You hurt me all you want. And of course, he's been watching the kids spar. So you're talking about a guy that was a world champion at one time. Now he's taught other world champions, and he's watching this young kid. He knows every mistake that the kid makes. And he gets in there and he decides to teach him a lesson. And the kid threw 4 punches and didn't touch him. And then that old man landed him right on his ass. And he goes, get back up. And the kid said the same thing. Why do all of us have egos? Well, because we're human. We're
Robert,
human. So it's
you
like,
have done so much to people in your career to help them get to that point. Just okay, I'm going to bring up Melody Ryba
sure.
as a classic example of somebody who she liked what you said. That you have the documentation. She challenged it, and then she thought, "Oh, what Robert is sharing with me is for my benefit."
Yeah.
You have gone through here's where the documentation beats conversation because you have had it. Success leaves clues. I know I say that all the time about you, but it truly does.
Right.
And because of that success, because of your documentation, Melody is one of your millionaires that you have helped to become a millionaire. I see that now with others that are part of our inner circle, that are part of when you go to roberthollis.com/join. Yes, plug, plug, plug. But you know what? That is kind of the whole idea here.
It
But
is.
anyways, I look at other individuals who have been affected by you in the positive way because of your documentation, because of your success. Uh, and the fact that you give to others, you give of yourself to others. It's inspiring. And okay, yes, only 67 people of however many thousands of people have achieved that millionaire goal of yours, but it doesn't really, I mean, yes, you feel an accomplishment to that. You've
Oh,
taken people like that under their wings. And even those that have not accomplished that, but those who have achieved success because of following
yeah.
you. And that is what is so incredible, and that we are so fortunate to share here
Yeah.
with Unlimited Wisdom. In addition to, what Matt feels. I mean, obviously the three of us are here to mastermind.
Right. Because
But
the yeah, because thank you, Craig. There's nothing more rewarding to someone that has wisdom is to watch another person take it and change their life. Because uh again, this is not about anything to do with organized religion. I dislike organized religion. And so, you know, and in a part of the story, King Solomon was an heir to King David. And so he couldn't have learned from a better mentor, his father.
exactly. Yeah.
And so now he's stepping in because his father's died. And so the wisdom came to him. I mean, the calling came to him and said, now that you have a heart for me, I'll give you anything you want. And listen to what he asked for, because I wanted to look it up because someone changed it. All right. King Solomon asked for the wisdom to lead God's people. Isn't it funny that people say that he prayed for wisdom? You give me wisdom. And then God said, well, because you asked for wisdom, you'll have everything. Why did people leave out that he's the prince of the king? So, like, we have a king in Europe, right? King Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when he became king, I don't think he needs anything. Do you guys know anything that he needs? No, he's got everything, including his own church that his ancestors built. He's got everything. So if you went to King Charles today and said you could have everything, anything you want, his response was, I want wisdom to lead your people. I got everything I want. I want the wisdom to help other people have an imagination. See, it's like, and that, so you always got these little things that are left out that people don't even know. They don't even check quotes anymore. You know what I mean? So one of the quotes that Abraham Lincoln said is that, and I might be messing it up. It's just like, you know, things are left for those that don't, but only what's left over from those that hustle. So if you look up Abraham Lincoln, it's the whole concept that basically the weak and the meek will inherit the earth. But someone just leaves out the rest of it. But only what's left from those that hustle. So it's like you can have anything that you want. You're only going to get what's left over from the people that did tap into imagination. Craig, go ahead.
Things may come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle.
So the rest of the world says, oh, do you know Abraham Lincoln's quote? Good things come to people that wait.
Yes.
And everyone goes, hey, it was Abraham Lincoln. We'll just wait. Right? And so it is pretty interesting that the stories that we've heard, that again, the whisper down the lane is another thing that I learned from wisdom, where the story changes from person to person to person to person. And that's why my first mentor went, how do you know that? Have you ever see? Here's what's crazy. Imagine if everyone in the world did this today. This is wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to share or repeat anything that I hear from anybody unless I personally do the research to find out where it came from and exactly what it is. Because as soon as you start that research, you'll go, why am I fucking doing this? I don't give a shit about this.
That's so true.
Because you're going, it takes milliseconds for me to make a post and then share it with other people that Taylor Swift is actually going to tell people at the Super Bowl to vote for Biden. See, oh my God, what are we going to do about this? There's 123 million people watching this, and she's going to do it. She's going to do it. It didn't happen. Okay, so people posted that. Some people never heard of that. Some people still don't have internet access. But there's this other group that are social warriors because they share shit that's not true. That's when you have no imagination. See what I mean? You're just a robot sharing opinions of others instead of really seeking to find out if that's true. Because if you started searching to see if it was true and went all the way back, you would find out that I'm not really sure this is true. So I'm not going to share it because did you guys get this email? For everyone that shares this email, Bill Gates is going to give $1. Yeah. See, some of you are already seeing my age because I'm talking about internet when only was out there as Outlook Express.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you share these chain emails, right? And it's like we've all done
posts on Facebook, which is now.
We've all done that. We've all done what I'm talking about. And unfortunately, that's usually how we learn not to do that stuff anymore. But
isn't the phrase sheeple?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say one of the funny ones for that always is it's like, you're just chilling and then you get a text or your significant other, your child or something runs up to you and they go, did you hear so-and-so just died? Then you're like, oh yeah. Did you check this before? And it's like, well, no, I just heard it. And I'm like, Google it. Nicolas Cage is still alive. Actually, his movie comes out this Friday.
Yeah. And every chat that I've seen about a UFC, everyone, 40,000 people on a chat. And you see, rest in peace, Joe Rogan. Rest in peace,
right.
Joe Rogan. Still to this day, it's like,
you guys want to hear a funny thought? This is something that I was thinking about. And it's kind of
now
off
we're
topic,
talking about, for those of you who are watching the podcast, we're going from wisdom to entertainment.
Right.
Which is this distraction But please, Matt.
Well, I was gonna say, me and Hannah, you know, she's watching me do all this stuff with AI and everything like that, and that's like how I'm spending most of my nights now, is just working on stuff. And we're both having a conversation about ghosts, right? Because like I'm in this horror mode right now, so I'm watching and consuming a lot of this stuff, right? Because I want to elicit some of those feelings in what I'm working on. And I'm playing with this technology, and I go, stop for a second. I look at her and I'm like, you know, now that we're never going to know whether ghosts or aliens are real anymore. Because the moment that this stuff hits that point, how are you ever going to be like, that's real footage of a ghost, or that's real
I
footage of an
know.
alien?
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
never know for sure. Unless if it was like, you know, you saw
Unless
it,
it was
right?
obvious.
Well, even
Well,
if it
listen,
was obvious, it could still be
I just
fake.
need you guys
So,
to
Right.
know that I watched a video of a guy going through a graveyard with his Tesla, and there's definitely ghosts. You know what I
Right.
mean? So you look out your window and they're not there, but the sensors are so sensitive in the Tesla that is picking it up. You know what I
Like the
mean?
little humans, it shows like the human
Or
outline on the
these little
sensors.
balls of light that it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
wait a minute, where is this? I didn't see this before.
But yeah, I'm sure like ghost stuff's gonna have a whole new field day, because it's like it's pretty easy to fake most things. Like, as
Yeah.
I'm finding out and working with other people, as we're finding out, is just like a majority of things you could fake at this stage.
No more really bad focused
Grainy
cameras on
films.
UFOs.
Right.
From now on, we're gonna have 8K pictures of UFOs.
No, I saw someone feed in a bunch of UFO footage into an AI, and all it did was generate fuzzy footage that looked like aliens were coming. Like, that's all it did. So it's like, if you keep feeding it information, it's like, hey, I can make 100 pictures that aliens are real tomorrow. All I have to do is click a button and walk away, go on a walk, come back. I've just made 100 propaganda things, you know, like
how many images of Sasquatch or of the Loch Ness monster
Oh,
have
yeah.
we seen in just along that same lines? You know, it's okay. The camera wasn't steady. Darn it. I know I saw it. I know I saw it. Let me
or
try
noises
it again.
or
Where is it?
voices or anything. Like, it's
Yeah.
It's crazy.
there's a lot of that stuff. So like when we talk about like where the world's going, right? And we are talking about unlimited wisdom, of course. It's like,
Yes, we are.
every single time, and I said this even earlier, but every single time you start to like envision, right, what the future is like at this stage, I'm telling you, as someone who works with this technology every single day now, I'm telling you, your wildest guess is not going to be. We have no idea, like really no idea.
You will be able to see your imagination.
Yes. Well, I mean, we've already got like Neuralink got put into a person the other day. That worked out. Elon Musk's stuff as far as neural computing goes, which is the step past spatial computing. But the amount of things that are growing in as far as opportunities go, and then the abundance of sharing that wisdom has like grown exponentially, right? Like, I had somebody ask me on one of the inner circles, and I want to share this publicly because I think it's something I get asked often when it comes to this stuff with AI. But it's like, well, what about I'm worried, like, what about my children? What about all of the bad things that are going to happen? And it's like, I'm sitting here right now talking to you through the internet, who, guess what, made a lot of that bad shit happen. Like, there's a lot of bad shit that's happened because the internet exists. There's a lot of bad shit that's happened because social media exists. But there's also a lot of good things that have happened because those two things have existed. And that's the way that AI will be. And so if you're thinking in the future and you're trying to envision unlimited wisdom, you're trying to envision and imagine what you want to do, it's important and imperative that you do that in a very personal way of what that is for you. And then put yourself in a position where you see the things manifesting that bring that to you. Because I don't feel like I'm in the position because I wanted to be. It's because I needed to be at that point.
I agree. I agree.
And
I believe that unlimited wisdom right now.
Yes.
I beat myself up since 2001. Okay, so you get given something that you should do, but my selfish part of me goes, how can I share all the wisdom that I'm learning as I'm learning each and every day and learning from other people, and things are changing as we're doing this. And, so how can I share that and make income to take care of my family? And so I would lean into this, and then I couldn't trust myself. So then what I would do is end up getting involved in another company that does marketing. And I'm pretty good at that. And so I can make money, and then I would make another attempt to do something similar. And let me explain why. I had it backwards. I had it backwards. I believed that if you had income, then you could work on your personal development. So, if you got to go to a job every day and you got to work a part-time job or maybe 3 part-time jobs, and you do all that to go home to a bunch of roommates that don't respect you and are making too much fucking noise, that comes from a personal experience. Okay. So you're like, when am I going to find time to activate my imagination to do what I feel I'm supposed to do? What about my imagination? I'm too tired. I'm too overwhelmed. I got too many bills. I got kids to take care of. I got pets to take care of. My parents are getting older, and I need to take care of them. There's just so much shit going on. I get it. I get it. And so I could have launched this in 2001, but I wasn't mature enough. I wasn't wise enough. And it wasn't the right time. That takes wisdom. That's not me failing for 20 years.
No, you'll
That's
hear,
me.
and you'll. That's so
That's
true,
me
Dad.
doing things that didn't work. That company failed. That didn't work. Pandemic came in. Now you got to adjust. Wisdom, go with the flow, learn to be flexible. And there's all these things that I did to make this at the time that it needed to be. And so one of the things I want to share with you guys, another mentor story on wisdom, right? So a lot of us want to fit in. Approval, acceptance, significance. There's all these things that we all need, whether we want to believe that we need them or not. Certainty, uncertainty. It's like these are things that we crave and that we need, right? And so I was in a position where I knew that one of the employees was doing stuff they wasn't supposed to be doing. They're stealing, right? And so I knew that I not only was going to tell on this guy, but what was also going to happen is me telling on this guy is going to show my loyalty to the company. And very selfish, wanted to get to the top of the corporate ladder faster than everybody else, right? So I walk into this guy and I said, "Do you got a minute?" And he goes, "Sure." And he goes, "Can I ask you a question?" "Yeah." "Is the information you're about ready to tell me, is that going to change the way I feel about an individual?" And I went, "Yeah." "How do you know that I want to feel different about somebody?" He goes, "Two." I said, "I'm listening." He goes, "By giving me this information, would you get any personal gain out of it?" And I went, "Okay." And he goes, "Third, is what you're going to tell me about this person, is it going to physically put somebody else or themselves in harm?" I said, "No." And he goes, "Do you want to still tell me?" I go, "No, I don't." And I went, boy, did I get a checkup from the neck up, because instantaneously I'm thinking, by sharing this piece of information, that it's going to be good. Is it? So that's a piece of wisdom with, how do you know that little filter that has to go through my mind made me who I am today. So those of you that know me personally, or now want to get to know me for the future, you're never going to hear me reach out to you and go, hey, did you hear about so-and-so? No, because here's a really stretch for wisdom. Unless I was personally there and witnessed it, I don't know. And then I find out with wisdom that a pancake has two sides. And then I hear, if there was a car accident and the police go over and interview 10 witnesses to it, that all 10 witnesses seen a different fucking accident. And I go, I don't understand. It's a thing called perspective. And then I found out, wow, that I have 3 perspectives. So it's the perspective that I currently have. And then if I was sharing that with someone, another part of me would see that in a different light. And then if you believed in, like I do, an imaginary friend, how did my imaginary friend see this happen? So if I was in a fight with somebody and they got to watch the first words exchange, the escalation, and then the fight of that, then it would be that person's view, my person's view. All the witnesses who were there had a different view, and my imaginary friend has a different view. I think that people would shut the fuck up if they would go through this exercise. Because you go, wow, has this ever happened to you? Want to go a little deeper? You're sitting around with your family telling a story that you've told for years, that it takes its own imagination. It does a little twist and turn, more emphasis on this one. Anyway, it's still the story. And it just seems to be at the right place at the right time, that when you share that story, and for me personally, I look at the person I love most in the world, my wife, and I go, right, hun. And she goes, no. Oh, I just got embarrassed in front of everyone I told this story to. And it's my sons, and it's their wives, and there's a couple of friends there. And I'm going like, what? She goes, I totally understand that that's the way you see it. I go, well, what way was it? Doesn't matter. Man, have you ever seen Terry, your mom, do this?
No, yes, and I Hannah, me too, because I think like me and you, we share so much stuff, right? So it's like we're so naturally like people to like, hey, I heard this thing, I'm gonna share it. Like I bet you, I wonder if we counted like on a daily basis how many times me and you send each other shit, or even send it through with Craig as well. It's probably like over 100. It's just a lot of stuff we send each other. But no, mom, of course, like she's very, very much one of those types of people that's very in check and there presently. And that's something that I've learned so much from her, and it's benefited me a lot to be like, hey, actually, is this actually that important, or is
how
it
do
just,
you know that? Exactly.
right?
She still tells this story of me leaving her in a grocery store parking lot. her perception is we definitely wasn't kissing each other at this moment. I don't know what was happening in the car. Let's just say that there must have been some kind of friction or resistance there. Is that fair? All right. And I don't remember it at all. Probably because some people are very good at forgetting things that are painful. I could easily beat a lie detector test on this. It's not in my recollection at all. But she said that she needed something at the store. And apparently I didn't want to go. And so I pulled up and she got out and I just left her there. Look, I'm laughing. I'm laughing. This is not funny to her. This story has never been funny to her. Are you getting a clue of different perspectives?
Mhm.
Okay. So Matt's seen this conversation many times because it's her little slinger. You know what I mean? It's like if things are getting out of control, she knows how to take me to my knees. And it's like, well, I didn't leave you at a grocery store. Uncle, I'm tapping out. Now, am I going to call her a liar? Not if I want to stay alive. But I honestly don't recall. But I hope this podcast of us exposing what unlimited wisdom is just that. I've been able to navigate every area of my life with more wisdom. And I've made a lot of mistakes. Trusting, believing, being loyal to the wrong people for too long a time. If you get to know us a little more and check out, I'm not a competitive person, but I can do pretty good with your trauma story. Okay, I won't go into it. All right, but if you want to be a right fighter and say that you got more trauma than anybody, I can put you in a group of people called the inner circle, and what I believe will be another group that we have called imaginators. And the one thing I think that we all can do with a little bit of wisdom is instead of trying to top each other's trauma story, our pain story, our victim story, our woe is me story, what if all of us just get in a group of people that believe in something bigger than themselves? And we all can listen to each other's wisdom and go, yeah, I've been there. Yeah, that happened to me. Yeah, this is how I got out of it. Because again, there's always two groups of people. It's the people that are still dealing with no imagination in their life, and they pretty much have given up. You know, they did what the world told them. They got a job. They went out and they work really hard. They might be on more than one job or more than one relationship, and none of us got a fucking owner's manual. And here I'm having a conversation with my youngest son, Kyle, and having to tell him that at 62 years of age that I'm still doing my very best to try to figure everything out. So that if he doesn't have it figured out now, just wait until you're 62, because you're still going, man, I don't know that I don't know. So all of us together causes a synergy and imagination where we get to pull off other people's imagination. And what about this? And what if we added this? And everything that we see in the world has been created because of imagination. As Albert Einstein says, imagination beats knowledge every time. Because people that are imaginators and imagine, it allows them to attract the people that have wisdom that they need to get them to the next level. This bullshit about you thinking you can do it alone is another myth with wisdom that you got to destroy. Because every person that you see has freedom, joy in their life, and that's it. I know a lot of you are going, what about income? You got wisdom and freedom. You got it figured out. We were talking before this, and someone interviewed Richard Branson of the Virgin brands. And they go, what if AI does bad things? He goes, I'll be on Necker Island. It's totally self-sufficient. It's got its own wind and solar power. I have, years and years and years of stuff that is there. Plus, I grow the stuff that we need. It's like when you start talking to the people that are thinking that AI could go the wrong way. Wow, they seen it coming. They're already prepared. Are you? Are you? See, there's some stuff that I don't know, but I know there's some stuff that you don't know. And it's like you can run from the world or you can change the world. So a story that I love to this day that Craig has heard is everybody wants to change the world. They want the world to change for them. And the way that you create change is change within yourself by becoming an imaginator. And when you learn that it's more important to get other people to imagine than you, then all your imagination will come true. It's through the effort of helping people go from looking at things one way to a things looking at another way. They're through stories and through parables and through examples. And so as you start doing that, you will start creating through imagination the very life that you always wanted. But there's a problem with this system. If you do what me and Matt and Craig and our other people that are with us are doing, you'll get other people caught up in this. And when they get caught up in this, then your life goes to the next level and you wasn't trying to get it there. Wow. Is it really, really true? If you focus and help people get what they want out of life, you get what you want out of life? Because I think a lot of people don't have the wisdom that they believe that they're going to do it all on their own. They don't need anybody's help. It's a total competition. And there's just not enough of you to go around. And what if the very thing that you're working on is no longer needed in the next year or two? We got wisdom for you. We can help you with that. And so I don't know it all, but I do know enough to find the people that do know what we need to know. Because when the student's ready, the teacher appears. And my goal is to find the wisest people on the planet in every area of life that get this group to go where it needs to go. So you work on you, you influence your family. You influence your family, you influence your little village, your little neighborhood. You influence a neighborhood, you got 3 million people following you on YouTube. That was a good dialogue, wasn't it? It's like, I never thought in my life that I would see people. We watched the People Choice Awards, and they had all these social media influencers there. And I guess somebody got mad at them and goes, those TikTokers, those social media people. I guess it was Billie Eilish that said it. And to think that this guy that's on TikTok that has tens of millions of followers said, I don't know if Billie Eilish knows this, but we were invited here. We didn't buy tickets here. We were invited here. And you know why? Because we made you. I loved your music. I told everyone about your music. Not anymore. I'm going like, whoa. Find people that forget where they were. Because I like her music, but it used to be her and her brother in a garage or a room in their house. And then all of a sudden people loved her music and now she's somebody. And she forgot about the other people. So sometimes people need to be reminded. So I hope you share this video with others. I'm going to let Craig close this out because he's so great at it. But Matt, oh my God, just great, great, great wisdom. I still learn from you every time I hear you on a podcast. And Craig, you're the same. It's nice to have different perspectives from different people with different influences, and that makes us all a body, and more can do more people can do things than one person. So I hope you join us in some way or fashion. And Matt, Craig, you got any other words?
Final words to say, because you guys have just said so much, and it's a pleasure and it's an honor to be here with both of you and with you that are watching and listening
Yes, thank
to
you.
us, because we appreciate you. Without you, we couldn't be doing this.
Correct.
You can follow Robert Hollis at roberthollis.com. Also, if you'd like to join our exclusive community, the Inner Circle, which we've mentioned in this broadcast, you can join us by going to roberthollis.com/join to register. If you're watching us on YouTube, there's a join button right below here that you can click on. That also is the same as going to roberthollis.com/join. There's going to be lots of great exclusive content, and you'll be able to participate in our special breakthrough sessions with Robert Hollis to help you move to the next level. And thank you guys so much. Shout out to, of course, our executive producer and visionaire, Matt Hollis. Matt, bless you, my friend. Thank you so very much.
Thanks, Matt.
And of course, Robert, amazing. Without you, this unlimited wisdom probably would not be shared. And we appreciate your inspiration, your guidance, and the fact that you are our GPS to success. Thank you.
I love you, Craig. The one wisdom that I'll say really quickly is I know that I know that I know I can't do this alone. I need your help.
Beautifully said. And thank you for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you next time when we do our unlimited wisdom. On behalf of Matt and Robert, my name is Craig A. Jackman. Please be good to yourself. Be cash. Until next time, bye-bye.